Hello everyone, my name's Ross, and today we're going to be talking about the solid programming principles. They're a set of principles that were invented by a guy called Robert C. Martin. They're generally considered to be object-oriented good practice. They're there for the purpose of code reusability in an object-oriented context. And we're going to be going through them one by one. They are in order: single responsibility, open-closed, Liskov substitution, interface segregation, and dependency inversion. This series of videos should be useful for an experienced programmer who wants to swat up for interview prep. Oftentimes the solid principles are used for interview questions, and so you might want to swat up on it for that reason. You might be a new programmer who's done some object-oriented coding, who understands what a class is, what an interface is, has written classes that extend other classes, but want to take it a step further towards good object-oriented programming practice. Or you might be a hiring manager and you might be wanting to use the solid principles to assess candidates. One of the problems that comes up when you use the solid principles to assess candidates is sometimes the acronym is asked about, which isn't really the best question. It's very possible to understand the solid principles and to be a good, effective, object-oriented programmer without understanding the acronym. So it's important to understand what the principles are and why they're there. And unless you do that, you can't really effectively ask about the suitability of a candidate. So for hiring managers too, for sure. Let's have a look at the notation that we're going to use throughout the series when we're looking at classes and how they interact. Let's say class X extends class A. That would be a solid line and an arrow that's open like that. Class X implements interface B. That's a dotted line and an open arrow. In this last case, this is composition. And composition is where you say class X is declared within class C, and we represent that with a solid line and a really badly drawn diamond shape that's filled in like that. There you go. And I've written there class X, my X equals null, and that's how you would declare it within class C as an instance variable. So with that in mind, I ought to say that we're going to use the example, a fanciful made-up example of a zoo management system when we're looking at the solid principles, just so we have some context that's similar to the real world. Of course, we're going to exclude all of the real-world complications like database access and things like that. That's not what this session is about. It's only about the solid principles. So we're going to contrive some examples out of this zoo management system that helps us demonstrate the solid principles. We're going to be looking at giraffes and bears and all kinds of things, and we're going to record the events in the animals' lives. So let's get started on the first principle, which is single responsibility.